This is Monster Mash!
Fright Night. Yeah, one of my favorite horror movies of all time. Starring Chris Sarandon, William Ragsdale, Amanda Bierce, Stephen Jeffries. It's just basically a movie about your standard vampire moves in next door. Yeah, I know it might sound silly and kind of stupid, but it's actually done really well, and like I said, it's one of my favorite horror films of all time. So, it's the beginning of the film. Charlie's with his girlfriend, they're about to have sex or make love, as she calls it. And Charlie gets a glimpse out the window and he sees a couple of people, I guess, that moved in next door, and they're carrying a coffin into the house. He tries to tell his girlfriend, and she thinks he's crazy and ends up leaving. The next day, Charlie notices a hooker or something get out of a taxi cab, and she asks if this is 99. He tells her no, that's next door, so she goes over next door to the house where the people just moved into, and then later on, Charlie hears a scream. The next night, Charlie's sitting there looking out of his window with some binoculars, he's just kind of curious about what that scream was, he's patrolling now. He's looking out of his window, and all of a sudden, across the way, in the neighbor's house, he sees this girl naked with this guy standing behind her. It's this really sensual scene, and Jerry Dandridge, the vampire neighbor guy, he's about to bite the girl, and he looks up and he realizes that Charlie's looking at him from across the way. Charlie could clearly see his fangs. Then with his super long, freaky ass fingers, he pulls down the blinds, and Charlie sees no more. Charlie Brewster watches this show on TV pretty much every night, and it's called Fright Night. And the host is this wacky, zany host named Peter Vincent, the great vampire hunter, killer, or some shit. And he's this old guy, and he hosts this horror movie marathon thing, basically, that's called Fright Night. A bunch of really weird stuff keeps happening, Charlie sees a bat, all this shit happens, and he goes to Peter Vincent and tries to convince this guy that there's a vampire living next door to him. The dude basically laughs it off, he's like, you're a crazy kid, I'm just a TV show host, it's just a character, none of this is real, vampires don't exist. He basically laughs it off, making Charlie feel like an idiot. Charlie's basically just out of luck again. To make a long story short, Peter Vincent is hired by Charlie's friends, Evil Ed and his girlfriend Amy, to basically go down to Jerry Dandridge's house and perform a vampire ritual to make sure that he's not a vampire, just to make sure, so Charlie can have a peace of mind and know that he's not living next door to a vampire, right? There's a lot of nods to Dracula in this film too. It's really neat. There's a really huge staircase, you got this guy that's basically mind controlled by the vampire, it's really awesome. No reflection in the mirror, the crucifix, having to have faith for the crucifix to work, sunlight killing it, just all this awesome stuff that just goes back to Dracula, and it's really cool how they did that, and they just showed respect towards Dracula. I love it. Amazing. What else can I really say? The special effects were great. The soundtrack was great. It had Jay Giles Band on it. It had that really awesome song, The Beast Inside, on there. It was just all around a really fun movie. So go grab some popcorn. Check it out. Fright Night. I highly recommend this film. Just an 80s nostalgic time capsule in itself. Scott 86, I'll see y'all in the next episode of Monster Mash!